Good morning. Welcome to Just Truth with Apostle Dwayne. Today is Wednesday, August 3rd, and got a lot of good stuff for you this morning on this episode of Just Truth. I'm actually going to be talking about the Wakanda Forever sequel to Black Panther, the movie. And there's some reasons why I'm going to be talking about this, and it's not because I'm hating on the director and the cast and all that other stuff, but there are some things that you need to know right now, and it's important. And I don't think we're hearing I know we're not hearing what I'm going to talk to you about today. These types of things, not everywhere. I mean, there's some people who the Lord's putting it on my heart to share these kinds of things, but this is not, by and large, most of what you hear. And so I'm going to be coming at this thing from an angle that you won't expect, but it's very important. We need to, I encourage you to stick around for this message, because I've got a lot of information I'm going to share with you that I pretty much know no one else is talking about. Okay. In addition to some things that other people are talking about. Now, before I get started with that, I just want to let you know that the website Truth with Apostle Dwayne is up. It's not perfect, but it's in the process. And it's getting better. There's more I'm adding, as I get time. My book is it's almost finished. I did everything I could to get it done yesterday, and it's gonna be today probably. The book I've got coming out is called God Wants You in Business for the Kingdom. I promise you, this is an amazing book. I'm giving it to you for free as an ebook download. And you'll want to have this book, because it's not just a business book. It's a book about how to partner with God, and basically for him to be your business partner, and as an overflow of you being his servant. And so it's an amazing book. I know that I haven't seen anything like this. What they say, well, I mean, there's some things I've seen, but nothing, pertaining to business. And the bottom line is you're going to want this book, and you're going to get it for free. And it's worth paying for. I promise you. Once you read it, you'll see that. Okay. So now let's go ahead and get to the message today. The dangers of Marvel's fake Black History, Wakanda, Black Panther deal. Okay, so now if you haven't seen this movie, I'm going to do something right now. I haven't been doing this only because I'm still new to this whole streaming and all that other stuff. But I'm going to play the clip or the trailer from the movie, and just let it go from there. Okay, so let's see here. Here we go. So this is the trailer from the new
No cry. No woman, no cry. Little darling, don't shed tears. No woman, no cry. Good friends we are, good friends we've lost along the way. In this great future, you can't forget your past. So dry your tears, I say. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. I am queen of the most powerful nation in the world, and my entire family is gone. Have I not given everything? And when I wake up,
Okay, so I mean that looks like it's going to be a blockbuster. I mean, well, you know it's going to be a blockbuster. It's it's going to be cinematically an amazing. But what else is it too? What else is it? I'm going to show you what it is, and I'm going to let you know what's coming. All right. So this right here, let's see here. You know, so much that is coming that's fast. Okay. The end times, from what I'm beginning to see, is going to be
Do not buy solar panels if you live
like
in one of these
anything
11
we
states of
expect.
America.
The end time is it's going to be it's going to be crazy. Okay. You know, and I mean, there's just a lot. But let me start with this. If you've been watching my ministry for any period of time, you know that I believe that we are the Hebrews, the legitimate descendants of the people in that Bible that you read. And there's just way too much proof, and it just more and more keeps coming out every day. Now, when you read in the book of Revelations, you see where God starts to again move through the Hebrew people in the book of Revelation, in accordance with a lot of the prophecy that has been like Ezekiel's dry bones and so many other things. And the devil don't want that. But what I do see happening is like a mass communication of things from different angles to try and get us off track so that we're not ready for the move of God that's coming. But let me tell you, it's coming. There's a move of God coming, and he wants you to be part of it. This is very, very important. Okay, so, you know, all right, so I only have, this is only a 30-minute show, so I'm going to go pretty fast. There's a lot of things that, that I'm going to tell you, and so I'm just going to run through it. The first problem with this, with that movie, is it's fake. There is no whack condom. I mean, that's exactly what it is. It's a whack condom. They know that we have been desperately seeking to find our identity, and since we were enslaved and our whole history was stripped from us, and so it's all the time. We're always being marketed to buy somebody's history because they know that there's a market for it. They know that there's the circumstances that we face in this country and around the world, just the stigmas and everything else we deal with, we're always in a fight. We're always trying to just to have a sense of that we belong, and in actuality, we more than belong. There's so much that we do, that we have done, and that's part of us. We have an intrinsic value as a people, and we have a very rich history. The only thing is it's been stolen from us, and we have been manipulated out of it. But God is ripping the cover off of all the scabs. He's ripping the cover off of all the lies. That's God. God is doing this. It's his doing that's bringing back all this information. But in the process, what the devil wants to do is he wants to give you other information. If you look at one of my earliest broadcasts of Just Truth, when I was talking about how the enemy, he lies, the reason that he lies is he hides the truth. He tries to hide the truth in a haystack of lies. So you know, like where the truth is one little sewing needle, like you threw it in a haystack of lies. And that's what he wants to do. He wants to overwhelm you with lies and other things so that you can have other things in your head and you can do the wrong thing based on your choices. Okay. And so at the exact same time, the Most High has been peeling back the covers off of all these stuff, they're trying to distract us with these counterfeits. Okay. And so, you have to be careful of what you take into your head, because that is what your life is based off of what you think. Okay. Now there's another problem with this movie is the forms of worship espoused in the Black Panther is designed to turn you away from God into the Hamites worship systems. And they're the ones who betrayed us into slavery anyway, to the Europeans. The Europeans didn't catch us. I mean, they needed help. Okay. And so one of the things that's going to cause you trouble is God is fighting for us. If God wasn't fighting for us, we'd be extinct by now. Look at the Tasmanians. There's so many different people who've just been wiped off the face of the earth by the European onslaught when they went through the world. And we are still here. We're still here. We're still standing. We're still strong. Even though we've got trouble, we're still, we've got more than enough ability to stand. Okay. And we're still making inroads. We're still doing things, and so, but if God wasn't fighting for us, we'd be gone. And so what they're trying to do is sell you on some things that are going to get you judged more than we already have been judged. Now I'm going to show you that, because in today's episode, I'm just going to talk about this stuff, but tomorrow, I'm going to try and bring up some clips and whatnot and just kind of show you some things. And so you can see what it is that I'm saying, but I'm going to show you right here today in the scripture. And so, but going into the Hamite worship things, we're not Hamites, we're Semites. We are not Hamites, we're Semites. We're not the Egyptians, the Kemetic people. We're none of those. We are Hebrews. That's your identity. You got the greatest identity. Solomon, David, all those people, that's you. Peter, Paul, John, that's us. Moses, Moshe, that's us. It's Abraham. Abraham was a king like nobody else. You got to understand, the covenant that we have through Abraham and Mashiach, because he is the Lion of the tribe of Judah. Guess who the tribe of Judah is? That's you. That's us. So, all right. So now look, this is from Exodus chapter 20, verse 1. And God spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Wrong one. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image, any likeness of anything in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. And thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity upon the fathers, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, to the third and fourth generation, and of them that hate me. Okay, so, well, hold on, let me go back. He said, no graven images. He said, you shall have no other God before me. All right. Now, when you watch the Wakanda movies, first of all, the Black Panther movie was a distraction from the actual Black Panther movement. That's when that the whole comic book came out as a way to keep people from going into the actual Black Panthers and go into this other thing. Okay. And then when you watch the movies, okay, the Black Panther movie, part of what they do is there's a lot of spirituality in it. There's this ancestor worship. There's the ancestors where they turn it into animals and stuff like that. That is all pagan idolatry. Then there's the Panther god. So here you had this asteroid, a heavenly body, crash into the earth, and then it out of it pops some spirit, some totem spirit, okay? And then that becomes their god, this Panther god. And then this Panther god equips them with all this advanced technology and gives them the ability to be strong. And then tells them to hide. You know, the reason that they didn't get colonized was not because they were too strong to be colonized. The reason they got colonized is because they hid. You see what I'm saying? It's like someone paying you a compliment and saying, you're the best thief I know. You're the prettiest weak person I ever met. You see what I'm saying? Are you going to accept that? You know, it's a form of programming. And so what they do is they're taking from you the history that you actually have, you know, the true and living God who displaced nations using you. It's steal that from you and then give you this weak history where every time you see a man, he's scared and running. The woman is strong, but the man is scared and running. Okay. Or if the man is strong, he's working to protect your systems that oppress you. I mean, nobody else does that. Okay, this is, you know, their whole agenda is flawed. You know, you just can't trust it. And right here it says, "You shall not bow down yourself to them nor serve them, for I, the Lord thy God, am a jealous God." Okay, and so when we start to look towards these other things, it's amazing how many things we're looking to now. Nobody, none of these other religions got you out of slavery. None of them. They can't, there's no record of anybody getting you out of slavery worldwide. Islam didn't do it. You know, and any of these worshiping, you know, animals and all that stuff, none of that did it. Our ancestors that came out of slavery, why were like 99% of them Christians? It wasn't because that's what the masters put on them. Why do you think they outlawed you being able to read the scriptures? Because they didn't want you to know who you are. Because when you read the word, God's going to tell you, look, this is you. Everything I'm saying is proven. You can check it out. There's just too much information. But you have these things come, and these forms of entertainment. It's just a form of indoctrination. And you know, it's not something you should see if your mind isn't already schooled to these facts. Okay, because these things are very compelling. Now, I'm going to be doing this show, or I'm going to be for this episode and the next 2 days. I'm actually going to be going in on this whole Black Panther thing because I want you to have. There's going to be a testimony. Okay, all right. So now, let me go here. This is Deuteronomy. So now the book that I just read you, Exodus, that's Moses talked to the children of Israel. Okay. And he's given them the laws of God. That's Exodus chapter 20. That's where they got the 10 commandments. Now, this is Deuteronomy. Now, this is toward the end of Moses' life when he wrote the book of Deuteronomy. This is Deuteronomy chapter 4. What's amazing to me is a lot of times when you look in the scripture, you'll see things that you didn't see before. That happens to me all the time. This morning, I was kind of doing some research for scriptures to pull up for this message, and I didn't realize that we were predicted to go into bondage all the way back in the earliest chapters of Deuteronomy. It wasn't just chapter 28. It's all throughout the book of Deuteronomy. I'm going to show you this. This is Deuteronomy chapter 4, verse 15. I'm going to read some verses here, and hopefully I can make it through all these for the end. Take ye therefore good heed unto yourselves, for ye saw no manner or similitude on that day that the Lord spake unto you out of Horeb in the midst of the fire. Now, what that's talking about is God had the children of Israel at the base of this mountain, and he appeared at the top of the mountain in fire. But it wasn't just fire, it was fire, thunder, and other things. There's this guy's name is Ron White. He went and found that place, and you could see where all the rocks were melted. They just became molten. It was fervent heat that he came down in, and thunderings and lightnings, and he spoke from heaven. They heard his voice as a whole community. There's millions of them. They're sitting there watching this sight. Okay. And right here he says, nobody has ever seen anything like that but you. You're the only people in the world to ever see a sight like that. That alone makes you special. But the reason he did that was he wanted to make sure they knew that this is the God who brought you out of Egypt. Don't turn your back on me, because I'm the only one who's protecting you. Okay. And he said, who spake unto you in the midst of the fire of Horeb, lest you corrupt yourselves and make a graven image, the similitude of any figure, the likeness of male or female, the likeness of any beast that is on the earth, the likeness of any winged fowl that flieth in the air. So basically saying, don't make an idol for yourself to worship. Don't bow down to any idols. Not in the shape of a human, not in the shape of an animal, not in the shape of a bird. The likeness of anything that creepeth on the ground, or any fish in the waters beneath the earth. So no bugs, no fish. And lest thou lift up thine eyes to heaven, and when thou seest the sun and the moon and the stars, even the host of heaven, should be driven to worship them and serve them. So here I've shown you in Black Panther, they got the asteroid, a heavenly body, crashed into the earth, produces this panther god. That is 2 out of the list there. And then they pray to their ancestors. You know, they have these different things they do where they go into necromancy. Basically, they're talking to the dead. Okay. These are things that God commanded you not to do. Okay. But wait till I get to when he said, and serve under them, which the Lord thy God hath divided the nations under, even the whole heaven. So none of the stars in the sky. Okay. Take heed unto yourselves, lest you forget the covenant of the Lord your God, which he made with you, and make you a graven image of the likeness of anything which the Lord thy God has forbidden thee. Okay. So these things are forbidden. Okay. Now, for the Lord thy God is a consuming fire. Is a consuming fire, even a jealous God. When thou shalt beget children and children's children, and ye shall have remained long in the land, and shalt corrupt yourselves and make a graven image of, or the likeness of anything, and shall do evil in the sight of the Lord thy God, hold on, and provoke that, and to provoke him to anger, I call heaven and earth to witness against you this day, that ye shall utterly perish from the land wherever you go, whereunto you go over to possess it. So this is saying that when you start doing these things, you're going to provoke me to jealousy and anger, and you're going to be kicked out of that land. Ye shall not prolong your days upon it, but shall be utterly destroyed. Didn't that happen? Okay, and watch this. And the Lord shall scatter you among the nations, and ye shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither the Lord shall lead you. Aren't you a minority everywhere? In every country that we're in, we're minorities. Okay? And there ye shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. Serving idols. Okay? And there ye shall, now here's where his mercy comes in. But if from thence thou shalt seek the Lord thy God, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul. When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days. Didn't I start this out by telling you we're in the last days? If thou turn to the Lord thy God, and shalt be obedient unto his voice, for the Lord thy God is a merciful God. He will not forsake thee, neither destroy thee, nor forget the covenant of thy fathers, which he sware unto them. God swore a covenant unto our ancestors. You see, okay. For as now the days that are past, or for as now of the days that are past, which were before thee, since the day that thy God created man upon the earth, and asked from the one side of the heaven unto the other. Come on. Whether there hath been any such thing as this great thing is, or hath been heard like it. Meaning, has that happened to anyone else? Has anyone else ever had a connection to the God of heaven, the one true God? There is no one in the earth who has record of the miracles that God performed for Israel. That's recorded by other nations at the time. It's not just it was written in the Bible. There's things that God talks about in the scriptures that other nations record and testify to seeing happen, miraculous things happen with these people. This is, but when you look at the consequences, there's only one people in the world who fits all these consequences. Okay. Did ever a people hear the voice of God speaking out of the midst of the fire, as thou hast heard, and live? Or hath God essayed to go to take for him a nation from the midst of another nation, by temptations, by signs and wonders, and by war, and by a mighty hand? Did he ever take another nation out of a nation and make them his people like that? No, only happened one time, and it's only going to happen one time. And stretched out arm, and by great terror, according to all the Lord your God did for you in Egypt before your eyes. Did it happen to anyone else before Israel? Never. Unto thee it was showed, that thou mightst know that the Lord thy God, that he is God, and there is none else beside him. There is no other God. There's only one God. Out of the heaven he made thee to hear his voice, that he might instruct thee upon the earth, and show thee his great fire, and thou heardest his words in the midst of the fire. So here they saw this great fire, and they heard his words in the midst of the fire. I could go on. I've got some more verses here. I put them all in the description for you. Okay, listen. Entertainment is one thing, but belief is another thing. All these things are food. If I gave you, like The Sound of Music said, a spoonful of poison helps I'm sorry, a spoonful of sugar helps the poison go down. It said medicine, but poison do the same thing. A spoonful of flattery can get you off doing some things that God's going to judge you for. Okay, so don't allow this marketing of this fake country with fake people, fake history, and all this other stuff get you naming your kid T'Challa. And tomorrow and the next day I'm going to go into more stuff about this thing with Marvel and the Black Panther and all this stuff, because I want you to see, God wants you to see, he wants you to not be confused. There's stuff coming. There's things that he's going to be doing in a holy people, but if you're not holy, he ain't going to do nothing with you. You're just going to get judged. Okay, so listen, I got to go right now. I'm going into Bible study with Apostle Dwayne coming up next.